talking about reflexology today on In the Know. Going into our last break, there was a tip on the screen and it talked about a foot soak.
Yes.
So tell us about your famous foot soak.
Okay, so I took mine just a notch further, and instead of making it a warm solution, I made it into hot and cold. So we use tea. Feet love tea because the tannins help to eliminate odors. And so I made hot tea and iced tea. And by alternating the hot and cold, as in hot and cold water therapy, you actually attack inflammation and pain. So that's what I decided to do with the foot soak, and I've tried it on some clients who absolutely swear by it.
Excellent. And everyone can get that foot soak recipe online on your website.
Good.
Okay, we've got a call. We've got Linda on the line from Aurora. Hi, Linda.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Yourself? Good,
thank you. Do you have a question for our Linda here today?
Yes. I've heard that reflexology could be good to calm your emotional state. I find myself, like, my mother passed away not so long ago, and I find myself emotional. Any suggestions when I have a low?
You know what, Linda? There's a lot of things that you can do for yourself, and hands are the most accessible. They're the easiest to get to because you have them right in front of you. And they're also our emotional messengers. So, you know, by reflexing, as we talked about, the solar plexus, which is found in that center of your palm, just below, we'll say the second finger, you'll find a round knob. And by just pressing into that and deep breathing, you'll be very, very surprised on how it almost like takes you down a notch. It just takes you down a level. And the other thing to do is just this kind of move where you're rocking the fingers, and it reflects the neck. And I find if you're, you know, rocking the fingers and just easing up on your neck movement at the same time, you'll also find that that takes you down. On my website, I actually have a recipe, and I think we're going to show a video coming up called My 5-Minute Motivator, and you can print it out and take a look. See, there's some pictures there to follow, and just those simple hand techniques can make all the difference in the world. You induce your brain to release the endorphins, and those endorphins are our natural you know, painkillers. They're mood elevators, and I highly suggest you give that a try.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your call, Linda. Well, why don't we show that video right away, since that's what we're talking about. This is the 5-minute motivator. We're obviously not going to show the full 5 minutes, but it's a quick, easy way that you can do the self-reflexology and a little pick-me-up.
It is a pick-me-up.
All right, let's take a look at that video then.
The pituitary reflex is found in the center pad of the thumb. Press your working thumb into the receiving thumb and hook 3 times. Rub out, and then move a little higher to stimulate the brain. Tap all fingers together, and then rub the hands vigorously, front and back, to stimulate energy. Now landmark the adrenal glands, found in the palm of the hand. Give it 3 knuckle presses. This is a good way to boost adrenaline. Hold a little tension in the neck. Thumb walk. Thumb walk the neck ridge.
All right, so
by
these are
holding
all
the palm face up. Work
easy.
back and forth.
They're very easy to find.
And I love watching the video because actually when you sent me this video at my desk, I did it all. I watched the video and I did it, right? And you can follow along, and it really does work as you're going, oh,
that's
that really does feel
that's
good.
Right. That does feel good, and you start to become self-aware, and you'll find that you might naturally go to a spot. I mean, we do this anyway,
right?
To comfort ourselves. Little did we know there was a big science behind it, right?
Absolutely, very cool. So this all goes hand in hand with zone therapy.
Zone therapy is really the foundation, right? And so what happens is the body from head to toe has what's called zones. So let's use my other friend here. And in between the fingers, we'll say, are the zones. So there's 5 zones on the left side of our body, 5 zones on the right side of our body. And the energy is moved throughout. In some sciences, it's called qi, right?
Okay.
In Chinese medicine, they refer to them as meridians. Meridians and zones are very, very similar. And so your flow of energy, your organs and systems and reflex points live in the various zones. And that's why they refer to it as zone therapy. And way back in the day, this Dr. Fitzgerald was one of the first. He was ears, nose, and throat. And he was one of the first doctors to realize that by pinching off, you know, something as simple in the finger, he could eliminate, you know, pain somewhere else in the body. And so that's the path that it started to take into reflexology.
Very cool. So you brought golf balls that we referenced before.
I did, and this is my favorite thing to do and to keep at a desk. I'm going to give you one too.
Okay.
As you can see, we're not golfing. If you take it in the palm of your hand, what happens is you start to find your ouchies, your ouchie spots.
Here.
Right. So you say, oh, what's with that? And then down in here, well, that's, you know, down in this part, we're into our pelvis. You're into the pelvic area. And over here, you've got your hip and your knee and your thigh. And with the golf ball, you're not only massaging some key areas, but you can now start to roll.
Right.
And when I say roll, we just talked about the zones. What you're doing is you're breaking up stale, stagnant energy. And what happens when you maybe have a tight spot, you know, here in your arm or whatever, you need to just break it up a little bit to get the flow.
And so do you roll in a circular motion, or do you literally go up and down?
Up and down is the best for rolling, right? You can do some circles, especially into the forearm, right? You find your own way. You can reflex into the hip area. We hold tension on our hips big time, especially with all the sitting.
All right, we have to take a short break. We're going to keep rolling here. Don't go anywhere. More reflexology when we come back.